Hello everyone and welcome to my Reading Rush vlog. So today is technically day 2 of the Reading Rush. It's Tuesday, but I wanted to give you guys like a brief update on my reading plans, what I've been reading and what I'm planning on reading this upcoming week. I did film a TBR for the Reading Rush, but I decided to just like read what I want to read and not follow the TBR exactly. So what I'm actually reading this week is I just started this book on like Sunday, I believe. It's Travels with Charley in Search of America by Steinbeck, which I'm really enjoying this book, and I'm currently on page like 115. And then I just started Where the Crawdads Sing today, actually. I'm on page like 60, and I like want to get to page 100 today because it ends like exactly on a chapter, and that's so satisfying. But I've just been so tired today that every time I like pick up this book and try to read it, like I just like start like passing out, which is really bad. But I am enjoying this book. It is a little bit of a slow start, but I feel like it has promise. So I'm excited to continue on with this. I'm sure you've heard of this or read this. Let me know if you have. I know this book has been out for a while and it's like so popular, and I've always wanted to know what the hype is about. So let me know if you've read this book. As for my audiobooks, I actually did finish an audiobook today, but it's like a secret for another video. I'm actually planning on starting another audiobook, and I am gonna stick to my audiobooks that I had in my TBR. So the two audiobooks that I have are The Poet X and Such a Fun Age by Reid. So I wasn't really sure which one to start with. I was gonna do The Poet X as like my outside book, but I don't know if I'm actually gonna stick to that. But I might start with Such a Fun Age just because it's a lot longer than The Poet X, and I just wanna make sure. I only have like 18 days left with it. I just wanna make sure that I can get it done. I don't think I'm gonna finish that book before the end of the Reading Rush, but I am excited to read that book because it's another book that's been talked about a lot, and I just think it'd be kind of interesting to read a book about a girl that's 25 and I'm also 25, and just, I don't know. I'm excited for that one. And yeah, that's basically my reading plans for the rest of this week, and I will update you guys as I go along. As I've said, I've been really tired basically all day, and I don't know, it's like reading is so hard to do when I'm tired. It just like, it makes me even more tired, which is so unfortunate. I might try to read a little bit more physically, and then I was thinking about going out for a walk just to be active, and then listen to my audiobook as I am walking. So yeah, I can start Such a Fun Age today, but I will keep you guys updated. I will bring you along the way, and let's hopefully have a better start to the Reading Rush this week. Okay, so it is day 3 of the Reading Rush, and before I get into a reading update with you guys, I thought it'd be kind of fun. I had this idea of trying to create a tinted moisturizer with just like my moisturizer and my foundation. So I'm just gonna use like the moisturizer that I usually use like in the morning that has SPF, and then mix it with the foundation that I use just to give it more of like a lighter coverage, just because it's so hot outside. I just don't want to be caked with foundation. So I'm gonna go ahead and start mixing, and we'll see how this actually turns out. So this is the two products I'm gonna mix together. Just because I've tried tinted moisturizers before, and I just feel like I don't know, I just feel like they don't give you a lot of coverage. So maybe this was a stupid idea. It honestly just looks like foundation. Yeah, and this is my beauty guru. I just like literally apply with my hands. It does apply really nicely though. Okay, this is a really stupid idea. This is why tinted moisturizers actually exist, because this does not blend super well, and I'm wondering if I can just take this, and I think I'm just gonna keep it because I'm honestly too lazy to redo my makeup. But this is, I don't know what it is, but I just feel like my makeup has just been looking cakier recently, and I don't know if that's because the lotion that I'm using in the morning has SPF in it, but that's why I just like don't want to wear foundation and just, so basically what I want to do is I want to go get these like tanning drops that you can put into lotion, which I also need to get lotion that doesn't have SPF in it, and you like mix it and it'll give your face like a nice glow. And the reason why I want to do that is then I don't have to wear foundation during the day and it won't like sweat off of me because it's the summer and it's so hot out. And then I can put on sunscreen over that and not have to like put it as a primer for makeup, because I just feel like, I don't know, I don't think sunscreen, I mean this isn't sunscreen but it has SPF in it, is like the best thing to use for like a base. It just makes it feel like kind of gross. But that's my plan. So I actually might go out to Sephora and Target today to get lotion and like the tanning drops, just so that hopefully it'll work where I don't have to put on foundation during like in the morning anymore. I'm doing such a terrible job. I'm just like so out of it. I started putting on my powder before my blush, and you need to put liquids on before powders, so I don't know what I'm doing. But I guess I can give you guys like a reading update. I've honestly been in such a, I look like a psycho. I've been in such like a reading slump recently. I don't know what it is. Like I'm not like super loving any of the books that I'm reading. So I started The Poet X yesterday, and I was actually just listening to it when I was doing my hair earlier, but I think it's fine. It's interesting. I've never read a book like that before, where it's like all in verse, and it's basically slam poetry, but all of the poems are kind of like linked together, and it tells like a story. I do like how it's set. It's like about this girl whose family is from the Dominican Republic and she lives in Harlem, so it is kind of cool to like read about a girl living in New York City. But I don't know what it is. Like I've just been in such a weird reading mood, and I just like need like one of those books to get me out of a slump, even though I just read an amazing book this weekend and I feel like it broke my slump, and then I just like got right back into it. So I don't know. As for Crawdads, sorry, I'm like not facing you, but it's not gonna work if you're over there. Crawdads is a really hyped book. I'm actually buddy reading it with one of my friends. I find it to be like very like average. Like I'm definitely entertained when I read it, but it's not like the most amazing book in the world. I guess I don't really get the hype around it. I mean, I think it's entertaining. There's kind of like a murder mystery element to it, and I feel like I'm getting to the part of the story where that's starting to like come together, so maybe that'll make the book a little bit more interesting. But overall it is a pretty, you know, it's a read, like it works. And that didn't make any sense. And as for my John Steinbeck book, I do really like it. The only thing is that it is very philosophical, and like when you're in a reading slump, like I don't know if philosophy is exactly what I'm in the mood for, but yeah, that's basically my reading. I'm like a quarter of the way done with The Poet X. I want to try to make it to page 200 today with Crawdads, which I'm sure I can surpass that, and I'll try to make a little bit of progress in Travels with Charley. But yeah, I mean, this is not turning out to be the reading week that I expected, but I will obviously keep you guys updated as I go along. Okay, so it's a little bit later in the day, and actually when I got home from shopping or going to the store, I noticed that there was a reading sprint going on, and I was like, well, maybe I'll just take a part of it. I've actually never done a reading sprint before, so I actually got a lot more reading done today, which I am happy with, and I'm gonna hopefully get more reading done So while I was out at the store, I actually got to like almost halfway through The Poet X, which is awesome. And I am liking it a little bit more, to be honest. It's a YA novel, and it's read by the author, Elizabeth Acevedo. And it's really about like this girl's like coming of age and her first love, and it's really interesting like hearing about her experience growing up in Harlem and how she challenges her faith and the leaders at her church. I just think it's really interesting to like learn about another culture, what it's like when you are, I think it's her parents were immigrants to this country. I don't know if it actually has said, unless I totally missed that. But yeah, it's really interesting. I'm liking it a little bit more. I'm actually listening to it on 1.25 speed, which I never do. I only listen to audiobooks on 1 speed, but it actually kind of works in verse when it's a little bit faster, so I kind of like that. And then I've been flying through this book. I have read 128 pages today, and I'm currently on page 228, so I'm like over 60% of the way through. You'd think that, I mean, the reason why I'm reading this book so fast is because it's like a really, really light and easy read. It's like not very hard to understand, but I'm honestly like not really engaged with it. I think it's like very average, to be honest. But it's a book that like I don't hate reading, so I'm just gonna keep going along with it. Hopefully I'll finish in the next couple of days. And then I have been completely ignoring this book, so I want to get back to this book tonight. So I'll probably, I'm only on page 133, so I'll probably read a little bit of this tonight before I go to bed. As for my shopping trip, I like my makeup, I feel like, is running under my eyes. But so I went to the store and I went to Sephora, and I swear this was like the first thing right as you walk in the door. There's a whole stand of this brand. It's the Isle of Paradise, and it's vegan, friendly, cruelty-free, and organic. I got the medium for the self-tanning drops, and it says you have to put like 1 to 12 drops in your base lotion, but for some people, like 3 or 4 drops is totally fine, and for others, it doesn't show up till 12 drops. But I'm gonna like play it safe and just do like 3 or 4 tonight. And then I got CeraVe again, but I just got like the daily moisturizing lotion without SPF. And I got the little bottle because even though it's technically more expensive per ounce, I just didn't want to like fully commit to it yet. So I'm gonna mix the 2 of these together. This guy was like $30. I'm hoping that it looks good and it doesn't make me look absolutely crazy. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my makeup off now, put this on. I want to let it dry before I go to sleep because I don't want there to be any like creasing or anything weird. And then I'll update you guys in the morning to see what it looks like. But I'm always like nervous about trying, especially like skin stuff, because I just don't want to look whack. But I'll keep you guys updated on everything, and yeah, I'll see you in the morning. So this is what it looks like the next day. I definitely like it. I wish it was like almost a little bit darker, but it does look good. I just really need to like fix these under eye bags. It's so bad. If any of you guys have a recommendation for what I could do about that, please let me know. But overall, I think it looks like pretty good. I actually might put on a little bit more today just to give myself more of a tan, and then have it like last throughout the day, and then, or have it develop throughout the day, and then I'll like cover up my blemishes. But I just have to avoid like the corners of my nose. I actually watched a video and the girl said that don't put the drops here, and it's so true because it kind of just like collects right there. But overall, like, I am pretty happy with it, and hopefully I won't have to put on my foundation for a while and just let my natural skin do the work itself. So I want to give you guys a brief reading update. Yesterday I had like the shortest update ever, but it's officially day 5 of the reading rush. It's Friday and it's 10 o'clock at night, and I actually do have an update. I just finished Where the Crawdads Sing, which I wanted to give you kind of like my wrap-up thoughts of what I thought about this book, because I feel like my perspective has kind of changed now that I finished it. I know that like throughout the vlog I've been saying that I haven't really been like super connected or invested in the story, but I kind of just wanted to, instead of just like go on and bash this book, I wanted to just come from like a more positive place and talk about the things that I like. I've actually been watching some videos where the author talks about writing this book, and this is actually her debut novel, and she's 70 years old, which is really amazing. And the reason why I feel bad for critiquing this book harshly is because even though this is a work of fiction, the author puts so much of herself into the story and into the main character that I almost feel bad saying I wasn't super like interested in the story when it feels as though I'm making like a critique on her life. I just wanted to tell you some of my thoughts on like the things that I liked about this book, and if it interests you, you should pick it up, or if you've already read it, then you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm obviously not going to be giving any spoilers. So this book is basically about this girl named Kaya who lives in the marshes in North Carolina, and she's basically abandoned by her entire family. And not only is she abandoned by her entire family, but she's also really abandoned by like the people around her and like the community that she lives in. And this book is really about Kaya just dealing with loneliness and how she goes to nature as a way to, I guess nature is the thing in her life that she's able to connect with. And the author actually has a BS in zoology and has a PhD in animal behavior, and she added a lot of her experience into the character's experience. And I just think it's a really interesting take on loneliness, which I've always found to be a really interesting theme in books. What I really liked about this book is how atmospheric it is. I don't really know much about the South, and especially don't know about the South during this time period, which is in the late 60s, early 70s. And when you're reading this book, you really feel as though you're in the South in North Carolina with Kaya. I also really love how this book follows one main character. I generally struggle with multiple main characters, but this book only had one, which was really great. And this book is kind of a combination of just a story, like a coming of age story, and Kaya growing up and like how she experiences the world around her, as well as there's elements of a love story and then also a murder mystery. And it's kind of interesting. I'd say that most of the book is just like typical literary fiction, and then like the murder mystery, you have more of that suspense. And on the inside flap of the book, it says, "How long can you protect your heart?" Which, again, kind of just deals with how Kaya always feels like she has to shield her heart from other people because she's been hurt so badly in the past by her family or the people at school. And the ending, I thought, was really, I actually liked the ending. It did wrap up pretty quickly, but I thought it kind of gave you the missing pieces that you were curious about throughout the book, and it kind of just like let you know like how the story ended. I thought it was like also very heartwarming in the end as well. So anyway, that's kind of like my little review of like Where the Crawdads Sing. And even though like I personally wasn't incredibly invested in this book, I did read it really quickly, which is something that's very rare for me, so that's like a plus side. And I think that in order for me to like get over this like super criticalness when I read books, is that, I don't even know if that's a word, but I just need to like dive a little bit deeper into like what is the story trying to tell me, and also just know that like now that I know that the author connects so much with the main character, it has given me just a broader awareness of like what this story was trying to say, and I can like really sympathize with the main character knowing that it was coming from such like a real and honest place. So Anyway, that's my experience with Where the Crawdads Sing. If you're curious about this book, I would definitely give it a read just to see if you like it. I just like to know where hype comes from, and I can definitely see where the hype comes from this book. It's very beautifully written with poems, and check it out if you haven't read it. As for my other books, I have not even touched my John Steinbeck book since yesterday, and as for the Poet X, I'm almost done with it. I think I'll be able to finish it tomorrow, which is great because I haven't even started Such a Fun Age, which I wanted to start at some point this week. And I'm like losing time from my library because I've had it for a little bit, so I really need to get on it because it's like a longish audiobook. But that's basically my plans for this weekend, and I do actually have like plans so I can take you guys along, but I will make sure to keep you updated, and I'm excited to let you know what I think of Such a Fun Age. Hello. Okay, so it's officially day 5. It's Saturday of the reading rush, and I actually decided that I'm going to split up the reading rush into 2 vlogs just because I feel like this vlog is getting a little bit long. So be on the lookout for my next vlog as I continue with the book that I'm currently reading, and then also the audiobook that I just started today. But you will find out more in a couple of days when I post the next vlog. But thank you so much for being here all the way till the end, especially if you listen to my whole like Crawdads spiel. I really appreciate it that you stuck around. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next one. Missing someone.